Hi everyone, welcome to Enjoy English School. I'm Steven.
I'm Minnie.
And today's date is March 3rd, and for the next 2 days, we're going to be looking at some dialogues under Business English.
那我们今天3月3号呢，我们要来阅读一些对话，那是商用英文的主题哦。
Yeah, so refer to pages 12 to 15, and the title is Restructuring the Company.
那我们在第12到15页，我们的主题是公司重组拼未来，又是这个 re 开头的字啦。
Dana and her employee Travis are discussing some big changes at the company.
那 Dana 跟她的这个员工 Travis 正在讨论一些公司的重大改革。
And this dialogue is between Dana and Travis.
他们两个之间的对话。
All right, let's get started. All right, so Dana starts the dialogue. She says, as you know, the company has agreed to a merger with one of our former rivals.
又出现了一个我很喜欢的词叫 merge 合并，所以 Dana 开始了这个对话，她说正如你们所知道的，本公司已经同意跟我们从前的竞争对手之一进行合并。
Right, so sometimes people will say something that they know everybody knows already, but they will just say it to kind of get everybody on the same page, okay? So everyone knows, they're all thinking the same thing, or they know what topic of conversation is coming up, okay? So they will start with, as you know, and tell you something you already know, okay? That's the meaning behind that and the reason we will say that.
那在其实我们读 dialogue 的时候，很重要的是我们怎么样开始一个聊天，怎么样让一个对话很完整、很顺畅的进行。那我们这边的 as you know， 其实就是如同大家所知道的，有可能大家真的普遍大部分的人都已经知道这个情况，但是你又必须要做一个背景解说的时候，我们就可以用这个开头。
Right, and here, has agreed to something, it means that everyone, all people or all parties involved have agreed to it. They all know about it and they all want it, okay? They have agreed to something. In this situation, they have agreed to a merger. If we talk about the verb merge, it means to combine things.
合并的动词
Right? 合并.
merge.
But as a noun, in this situation, it's a combination of two things, usually two companies. So we know that there are two companies combining right now.
所以我们看到 merger 加了 er 之后，我们很明显的知道它其实是用一个名词的形式。那我们会出现这个字呢，就代表有两方合并在一起，就像是公司合并啊等等。那这个字其实我第一次学到的时候是在美国的高速公路上。
Oh yeah, you have the merge, right? When the roads are merging together.
对，
两个路要并在一起。
并在一起的时候就会看到这个字。
Yes. And who are they merging with? This company is merging with their former rival. Former, this adjective means that previous. Okay? And rival is someone that you go against or compete against.
你的对手。
对手. So you can also say competitor.
Competitor.
Okay? Now, Travis then says, yes, it's all we've been talking about the past month. Okay.
所以 Travis 就说没错，我们过去1个月来不断讨论的就是这件事。
Right, so the past month means that from this day and every day before this day in this month, they've been talking about it.
就像是今天3月3号嘛，可能从2月3号就开始讲了。
Yeah, the past month, they've been talking about the subject of merging with the former rival.
Yes.
Okay. There have been murmurs of some big changes and possibly some people being let go.
所以这个 murmur 就是窃窃私语，所以大家都在窃窃私语说呢，有一些重大改变，而且有些人还可能被迫离职。
Right, so this is one of the things that you will always fear when you are working in a company. You will always fear being let go. That means that the company can no longer afford having you, or maybe sometimes it's because they don't like your work performance. Maybe you just don't work well with this company, so they might let you go.
It's like being fired.
Yeah, it's like another word of saying being fired.
但 let go 好听一点啦。
Yeah. And also, not just fired. Fired means you did something wrong.
Oh.
You could also be laid off.
Laid off.
Okay.
Laid off 也听起来很严重。
Yeah, but laid off is a little bit better than being fired.
True.
Because being laid off means that you just didn't do anything wrong per se, but maybe because of the company's situation, they can't afford having you anymore, and you'll still get some benefits, like when you get laid off. Okay, but when you get fired, usually there's no benefits.
所以 fire 感觉是做错事 ，lay off 跟这个 let go 比较是可能没有做错什么事，可能是跟公司内部的一些整合有关系。
But either way, you lose your job, which is never a good thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
unless you're looking forward to it.
That is true. All right, so Dana says, yes, I'm afraid the rumors are true.
Dana 就语重心长说，对，那恐怕呢，这些所谓的 murmur、rumor、传言都是真的。
Right, so when you say I'm afraid and then you have things following that, if you just say, yes, I'm afraid, that means 你很怕.
很害怕。
But in this situation, she's not really scared, but she's just saying that unfortunately these things are real or these things are true. So when you see I'm afraid, blah, 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 that means that there's negative news coming up. Okay,
恐怕。
the rumors are true. So things that people are saying, rumors usually don't have proof, solid proof, but usually rumors don't start from nothing. Yeah.
老师说的有道理。rumor 它不会凭空发生嘛，所以虽然有时候 rumor 不一定是真的，但是一定有可能几%的真实性。
Yeah, there's always some truth
Yeah.
behind every rumor. We'll be restructuring the company and combining several departments.
所以他说我们正在进行公司的重组，而且会 combine 跟刚刚 merge 有点像，合并一些部门。
Right, so structure, what is structure? That means like 架构,
Yeah.
right? So every company has a structure that's already made. But sometimes maybe these structures aren't really working out, okay? Usually the structure of a company is the different departments.
Yeah.
All right, there's like the HR department, there's
人
this
资
sales department, there's a
贩售
marketing
IT
department, IT department. These are all different departments that make up
Yes.
the structure of a company. So when you're restructuring it, when we see RE, we know that things are being redone, okay? So they're just changing the structure of the company. Especially now there's a merger, there's two companies combining, there has to be some restructuring.
对，所以看到 re 这个字首又知道又是再一次的意思，所以再一次组成，我们要重新组成、重组这个公司。
Right. So here we see combining several departments. We could also use the word that we learned earlier, merging several departments. Only here it would be used as a verb. In the beginning, it was used as a noun.
Yes.
So Travis then says, does that mean some people are going to lose their jobs?
哦 ，OK， 问得很直白哦。那这是不是意味着说有人会丢掉他的饭碗呢？
So what do we mean by does that mean? Or what does that mean? 就是这个意思是什么呢? Okay, so does that mean 你说了那些东西以上的东西是不是这个意思？
是不是代表这个意思？
Okay, does that mean some people are going to lose their jobs? Okay. Then Dana replies, yes, I'm afraid when the dust settles, we will have to lay off about 30% of our staff.
Dust settle 跟settle 跟中文一样哦，尘埃落定。所以他说是的，只怕当一切尘埃落定的时候，我们必须裁掉30%左右的员工。
Right, so here we see her say, I'm afraid, blah, blah, blah. So we know that there's negative news
Yes.
coming up. When the dust settles, so that means when things become clear or when things become calm after some time, because there's going to be a lot of chaos when these companies merge.
对。
Chaos is C-H-A-O-S.
混乱的意思。
混乱的意思. So when this is happening, like if you imagine you're in a room that has a lot of dust, right? And then you move things around, then, you know, the dust is going to be in the air for a while.
Yes.
But after a while, it will eventually fall
Settle.
to the surface or fall to the ground. So that's what we mean by when the dust settles, when after the merger happens and they have time to kind of figure out what's going on, restructuring the company, then they will lay off, what we talked about earlier, they will let go of about 30% of our staff. So the staff is all of the workers in a company that they make up the staff.
对，所以这边 staff 就有点像是员工、employee 或者是 crew 的感觉。
Yeah.
对，所以天哪
Yeah, bad news all
Yeah.
around. Okay, let's take a short break. All right, Travis says, this is really cute. Oh no. Did you call me into your office to fire me?
所以 Travis 很可爱，他说 不，你难道是把我叫到你办公室，是不是要把我开除了？我是第一个你开刀的人吗？
Right, so we talked about, letting
Lay
people
off.
go, laying people off. Now he's asking, did you tell me to come to your office to fire me? Okay, and then Dana says, no, I know everyone is really on edge right now, but no one will be fired until May.
他说没有啦，不是啦，我知道目前所有人都如坐针毡 on edge 其实就是有点在边缘的感觉，所以如坐针毡，但是呢到5月之前都不会辞退任何人。
Right, she still hasn't answered though if
Yeah,
she's gonna fire him.
yeah.
She's just saying
You
not
will
now.
know in May.
Yeah, not now, but maybe later. Okay, but anyway, what does it mean by saying someone is on edge? Okay, when someone is on edge, you can imagine they're sitting on a cliff. Okay,
悬崖
so it's kind of unstable. It's
不稳定
kind of scary.
Yeah.
They're probably going to have a lot of emotions that are very negative. Okay, but usually when we say people are on edge, we're saying that they're very anxious.
很焦虑的时候，我们就会
焦虑
说 on edge.
Yes, okay. ANXIOUS, anxious, okay? And then so a lot of times if you see your friend and they're like kind of like look
Tense up.
tense and stuff, you might say, "Oh, are you okay? You seem really on edge." Okay, well, we say this quite often. All right. She then says, "We'll try to give everyone at least a month's notice in advance."
所以他说我们会试着让每个人都事先接到至少1个月的预告期。In advance 这个字就是预先的意思。
Right,
很重
so
要。
a month's notice. A notice in this situation does not mean to 发现 something, right? It's not a verb, okay? In this sentence, it's a noun,
noun.
which means notification or warning.
Or heads up.
Or heads up, that's right. So you could say at least a month's warning in advance, or at least a month's notification, or at least a month's heads
Heads up.
in advance. We often say heads up and warning in this situation, a month's warning in advance. So when we say in advance, we mean that we're giving them time beforehand. Okay, we're giving them a lot of time to prepare. So we're giving them a month's notice in advance. 提早的。
提早做什么事情，我们都会用 in advance，而且这个 in advance 通常都是放句尾哦。
Yes. So I need this homework 1 week in
In
advance.
advance 就是
Okay.
提早1个礼拜的意思。
Yes. So then Travis says, "So I'm not getting fired?"
所以我不会卷铺盖走路吗？
So you're
不会
not
被
going to
fire
fire
吗？
me, so I'm not getting fired, right? So he's still sorry. Like I said, Dana has not answered the question, so he is just reaffirming. Okay, he's
重新再
making
确
sure.
认，
Yeah,
然后
he's-
很直白的直接问了。
yeah, he's making
好
sure.
可爱哦
Yeah.
，Travis。
So Dana says, "No, just the opposite."
哦，所以他说不会哦，而且事情刚好相反。
对，刚好是相反, which means that there's good news, right? So what's the opposite of getting fired? That means that
You're getting a promotion.
he's going to get promotion. And the next sentence reconfirms what we were
You
about
need
to say.
to fire people.
Yeah. I want to give you a promotion and put you in charge of one of the new departments.
所以这边我们就讲到刚刚的 promotion， 我呢反而是要提拔你，让你负责 in charge 这个字就有点像 be responsible for something， 负责带领其中一个新的部门。
Right. So here, if we want to change promotion to the verb form, she could also say, I want to promote you. Okay, but give you a promotion and promote you mean the same thing. And put you in charge of, or give you more responsibility, or put you as the leadership of one of the new departments. Okay, put you in the leadership position of one of the new departments.
所以 leadership position 就有点像是领导的那个位置，有点像是 administration。
So we also say in charge of something quite often. Like,
Yeah.
I am in charge
charge
of this project. Okay.
我负责这项专案。
And then if you go to a store and you want to complain about something,
Who's
you-
in charge?
Who's in charge?
谁负责？叫我们经理出来。
对
Who's
对
in
对
charge?
The person who's in charge is usually the supervisor or the
Manager.
manager or the boss. Okay, those are the people that are in charge. Okay. Then Travis says, "Seriously? That's great."
你是说认真的吗？真是太棒了。
So seriously is like a really good way to ask, like,
Really?
Really? Are you for real? That's great. Does my supervisor, Mr. Jones, know?
所以他说那我的主管这个琼斯先生知道这件事吗
？So
maybe he's leaving.
Yeah, maybe he's leaving. We'll find out. Dana says, actually, Mr. Jones will be let go.
Oh my god. 所以他说事实上琼斯先生他会走路就是他会被 fire 掉。
被 fire 掉，对， or 被 laid
off.
Okay, we don't know. When you say be let go, we actually don't know if they're being fired or if they're being laid off. So it's a really good neutral way to say that they're leaving the company.
对，不表达任何情绪的方法，我们就可以用 let go。然后这边要注意一下 be let go 它其实是一个被动嘛，对不对？但是因为 let 的三态它是 let 很可爱 AAA 形式，所以它这边也是 LET let.
Yes, there are a lot of verbs like that in English. A lot of times, a lot of my friends or a lot of my students will say, how am I supposed to know which verbs are going to stay the same? How do I know which verbs are going to change just by adding an ED? Like every verb is, like some verbs are the same, but there are a lot of irregular verbs. And the only way that you can know this...
Read and memorize.
Unfortunately, you just have to keep reading, keep listening, keep noticing these verbs. A lot of these verbs you'll see over and over and over again, and I guarantee you with more practice, it will get easier and easier. But in the beginning, you're going to be like, what? Why did that change? Why is this verb like this? Why is this verb like this? I understand how that feels. You just have to memorize. And once you memorize it, you won't forget it. And then it will only get easier and easier. So the hardest part is to get started. Everything else will follow.
真的，而且我可以给大家一个建议，你可以去针对 ABC 形式，就是3个长不一样，先去记，然后看一个记一个，然后等到时间一拉长，你就会发现你记好多动词。
Yeah, and also try to use it every day. Try to practice, okay? And you can always go online on Google or any kind of search engine and type, okay, what is the past tense of this verb? Right. So these are really easy to learn, but it just takes time to memorize. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's like... But once it's yours, it's yours.
Yes.
Okay, so 一旦这个东西是你的，就会是你的，然后你就会记得它。Okay, you just have to get started. Okay, so Dana says actually Mr. Jones will be let go. You'll be taking his position if you accept the offer.
如果你接受这个提议的话呢，你将会接手他的职位。
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Do you think this is immoral or moral?
I think it's immoral. Because obviously in this situation, because, well, maybe they just don't like the way that Mr. Jones supervises. Maybe they don't like his style. There's a lot of different reasons that could happen, but sometimes companies, like maybe Mr. Jones, his payroll is really expensive. His salary is really expensive.
因为 Jones 太贵了。
Yeah, that could be the case sometimes.
Yeah, could be.
Sometimes. But either way, Travis is taking Mr.
Good for him.
Good for Travis, but sorry for Mr. Jones, right? So in this situation, Travis might have a lot of conflicting emotions. Conflicting in Chinese is
很矛盾的
conflicting emotions. So if he is willing to accept this offer, then Mr. Jones will be let go. Or Mr. Jones will be let go no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay. But Travis then says, oh, I see. So what does this mean? It means, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, 我了解了。
我了解了。
Wow, this has really caught me by surprise.
这个惊喜真让我不知道如何反应。耶，我被升职了。我的主管要走了，因为我要代替他。
Right, and also it happened all of a sudden, so it caught him by surprise. So when something catches you by surprise, that means that you had no warning beforehand. You had no idea beforehand, and it happened very suddenly, and you have to make a decision or something. It's just something that it catches you by surprise. 你完全没有意料到这个事情。Okay? All right, let's go to the review. All right, Minnie 老师, what is a merger?
就代表它是一个合并，通常是指甲方乙方两个公司合并在一起。
Right, so who is a former rival?
就是代表你先前的竞争对手。
Okay, so no longer are they rivals. They were former rivals.
Yeah, 之前的。
Okay, what does it mean to murmur?
就代表碎碎念。我超厉害。
Murmur. Okay, so if a company lets you go, what does that mean?
那就代表他要解雇、解聘你啦。
Okay, so that could mean that they are laying you off or you are being laid off.
所以 lay off 跟 let go 都是解雇、解聘的意思。
Or that could mean they are firing you.
fire 就比较严重了，解雇、解聘，可是可能是因为你做错事。
Right, so what does it mean to restructure a company?
要重组、重建。
And once you're restructuring a company, it might take some time for the dust to settle.
所以 dust 是灰尘嘛 ，settle 是安定下来，所以我们就可以翻译成尘埃落定。
Who is the staff of a company?
那就是一个公司的员工 staff。
All right, so when we say that someone is on edge, what does that mean?
就代表他在那个边边嘛，对不对？就代表他如坐针毡，很紧张，然后很焦虑。
Right, to prevent people from being on edge, you might want to give them some time in advance when you're going to announce something. So what does in advance mean?
In advance 就代表预先预知的意思。
Right. So when you promote someone, that means
你升迁。
And when you promote someone, you might put them in charge of a department. What does put someone in charge of?
就代表让某人负责什么事情。
Okay. And if I do something all of a sudden, I might catch you by surprise.
所以如果太突然做的话，那你有可能就是会不知道如何反应。
Right. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll continue with this dialogue tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Restructuring the Company. Dialogue A. Dana and her employee, Travis, are discussing some big changes at the company.
As you know, the company has agreed to a merger with one of our former rivals.
Yes, it's all we've been talking about the past month. There have been murmurs of some big changes and possibly some people being let go.
Yes, I'm afraid the rumors are true. We'll be restructuring the company and combining several departments.
Does that mean some people are going to lose their jobs?
Yes, I'm afraid when the dust settles, we will have to lay off about 30% of our staff.
Oh no, did you call me into your office to fire me?
No. I know everyone is really on edge right now, but no one will be fired until May. We'll try to give everyone at least a month's notice in advance.
So I'm not getting fired?
No, just the opposite. I want to give you a promotion and put you in charge of one of the new departments.
Seriously? That's great. Does my supervisor, Mr. Jones, know?
Actually, Mr. Jones will be let go. You'll be taking his position if you accept the offer.
Oh, I see. Wow, this has really caught me by surprise.